Bienvenidos y bienvenidas al webinar de hoy, 3 Online Options to Develop English Abilities, Listening, Reading and Use of English, cuyo objetivo es proporcionar estrategias prácticas y efectivas que promuevan el aprendizaje autónomo y continuo del inglés, identificando herramientas que fomenten la comprensión auditiva, la lectura y el uso correcto del idioma, ayudando a los docentes y estudiantes a mejorar su nivel de manera integral. Nuestro invitado de hoy es maestro en Lingüística Aplicada por la Universidad Autónoma del Estado de México y licenciado en Lenguas por la Facultad de Lenguas de la misma institución. Bienvenido, maestro Roberto Miranda Hernández.
Muchísimas gracias.
Él cuenta con certificaciones internacionales, entre las que destacan Cambridge English Proficiency, Certificate in Advanced English, First Certificate in English, CENI con banda 18, Teaching Knowledge Test, módulos 1, 2 y 3. A lo largo de su trayectoria ha compartido su conocimiento en diversas ponencias e investigaciones. Algunas de sus participaciones incluyen coloquio académico, retos y desafíos en la enseñanza de idiomas, 14º coloquio de investigación de idiomas, formación de docencia de lenguas, The Anglo Teachers Conference y seminario permanente de lingüística aplicada. Además, ha contribuido al ámbito académico con publicaciones como Experiencias de investigación en la formación del docente de lenguas en México 2023 y Dinámicas y debates de la lengua actual desde las prácticas educativas en 2018. Actualmente combina la enseñanza con el diseño y reestructuración de programas educativos de la Universidad Autónoma del Estado de México y en The Anglo Academy, donde imparte asignaturas en inglés y español, tanto de manera presencial como a distancia. También destaca como instructor en cursos de preparación para los exámenes Cambridge English Preliminary, First Advanced and Proficiency, y como capacitador docente para futuros profesores de inglés, desempeñándose como TTC Trainer. Además, funge como examinador de producción oral para Cambridge English y es capacitador docente para profesores en activo, tanto en modalidad presencial como en línea. Sin duda, un profesional que contribuye significativamente a la formación de futuros docentes y a la enseñanza de idiomas con un enfoque innovador y de calidad. Okay. Well, it's a pleasure to have you with us today, Roberto, for our very first English webinar. Thank you for joining us and for taking the time to share with us your insights.
On the contrary, thank you very much. I am deeply indebted.
Okay. As the title of today's webinar suggests, we'll be learning about 3 amazing apps that can help students develop their English abilities.
But before we dive into the apps themselves, I'd like to start by setting the scene.
Could you tell us what your teaching methods look like before you started using these apps?
Well, that's a very interesting question. Well, to be perfectly honest, most of my teaching was book-based at the very beginning. So I just kept using the book all along the classes. My students must have been that bored, you know. But, like, I can also tell you that most of the, of my lessons, in general, were, based on a grammar and vocabulary focus. Those who were my students and are watching this webinar can attest to it. So that was pretty much, what my teaching was like. But during the pandemic, we had important challenges that we had to face. So thanks to that, I became well aware of digital tools to enhance my teaching skills.
Okay, that's really interesting. Do you still use those methods alongside the apps you're sharing with us today? Or have the apps completely replaced them?
Now, basically, I try to mix what I used to do and was right, and what I have learned to do and I deem appropriate for my lessons.
Okay, let's move on to the first app. Can you tell what it is, how to use it, and what benefits it offers?
Of course. So let's get started then with this first app, which is called Magic School. So I will be talking about a series of apps, but I would like to focus on this one now. So basically, Magic School is an AI-powered educational platform that is designed to support teachers with lesson planning, assessment creation, curriculum development, and some administrative tasks. It provides interactive tools and resources to enhance the teaching process and improve student engagement. So basically, Magic School can help us improve listening skills by providing AI-generated audio lessons, interactive exercises, and listening comprehension activities, such as multiple choice and sentence completion, for example. So teachers can customize their materials based on the proficiency of their students, ensuring engaging lessons and relevant content. I would like to show you how it works in general now. Well, basically, you just go to magicschool.com. So in this case, you click on Educator and you create an account. So I create the account with an email and a password. Okay. So basically, well, we just have to wait for us to create an account. And there are different ways in which we can tap into the potential that Magic School has to offer. So, well, first of all, it will like the website will ask you to build a profile. So you choose your role. In this case, I'm going to choose teacher. Once that's done, well, you have to, you know, like choose like the age your learners are, you know, like that's up to you. So you choose, and then, for example, here we have like different subjects. I choose English and Language Arts. Here my name appears. So I am Robert, but I am going to be, in this case, Mr. Miranda. Okay. So I'm going to get started. There you go. So basically, you know, like there's this warning, like at the very beginning, saying that AI is not perfect. So you have to make sure you acknowledge that fact for you to get started. So it can make mistakes. But well, anywho, so how to improve, you know, like the listening skills of our learners by means of Magic School? That's really easy. There's a tool in this case which is called YouTube video questions. Okay. So you click on that, and then there are a couple of things you have to consider, like grade level, question type, and the number of questions. In this case, I'm going to generate a multiple choice, you know, like multiple choice questions. I'm going to choose 5. And over here, it requires you to get a transcript from the video you are going to use or from the resource you are going to use. So basically, I love using videos from TED Education. They are really instructional. They are, you know, like really educational. So, for example, let's explore, I don't know, let's say AI. There should be something about AI here in TED Ed. So TED Ed. And how does AI learn, for example? Look, for some reason, YouTube doesn't offer a transcript anymore. But we can copy the link and we can go to a website which is called NotGPT, and that can, you know, like in this case, generate the transcript we need for this tool. And over here, you just paste the link of the video, which was this one about AI. So there you go. This is the link. And then it should be able to generate the transcript. So here we have transcript. And look, here it is. So basically, we just copy paste it. So allow. And once you've done that, you go back to Magic School and you paste it. There you go. It's fantastic, you know, like to give it a read before you do that. This is just an example. So later on, you can access, you know, like NotGPT and generate a transcript. Just you click on copy, remember, and then you go back to Magic School, and you just paste it here. Then you click at generate, and it generates like 5 questions, for example. Then right after that, you have the like the answers, and the great thing about Magic School is that it indicates exactly where in the video you can find the answer. It indicates the timestamp. You can also get it to like for example generate a sentence completion exercise. Like for example, generate a sentence completion exercise, and it will generate it just on spot. I didn't specify how many questions, but if I want, I can, like write another prompt in which I specify how many questions I need, and the answers are shown here. So this is a great way to make use of authentic material and design resources to improve listening skills. So that's why like some of the pros of Magic School. So we can have audio-based activities, active listening, and task completion activities in general, and we can integrate authentic material.
Well, that sounds fantastic. But I imagine there may be some downsides.
Yeah.
Are there any kinds of challenge with this app that educators should be aware of?
Of course. Well, first of all, is the fact that it offers limited customization. So if, for example, in the multiple choice exercise that we generated, like before, I wanted perhaps to get a Magic School to explain why A is the answer and not, like, for example, B or C, it would just limit, like to something like, I am unable to generate a response for that. So, like, you need to be very careful when it comes to that. Well, we are heavily reliant on internet access. So without internet, it's not possible to access. And it can be overwhelming for those who are unfamiliar with it. But in general, it is a tool that it is well worth using, and it is, like well worth being trained to use it.
Okay. Thank you for sharing that side. Let's move on to the second app. Which one are we talking about now?
Okay, we're talking about something that's called Chat PDF, and I'm sure that's quite familiar to like most students out there who are watching this webinar. So basically, Chat PDF is a web-based tool that allows users to upload and interact with PDF documents using AI-powered chat features. It's like ChatGPT, but for PDFs. It enables users to ask questions, summarize content, extract key information, and analyze complex texts efficiently, making use of AI, as I pointed out before, and that makes it useful for students, researchers, professionals, and why not also for teachers. So I would like to tell you a little bit about how ChatGPT is a useful tool for reading practice, because it allows like students to interact with a text in a dynamic way. They can ask questions about the document in general. They can summarize passages and clarify unfamiliar vocabulary if necessary. But for example, when it comes to teaching, we can use it in the following way. And there you go. So, well, just first of all, set it in English. Right? Okay. Then, look, what you can do here in order to like foster reading skills is to share a document in PDF. For example, I'm going to share this one. This is an article from like the like the very famous like publishing house Elsevier, that has like articles for professionals. I am currently teaching a course which is basically for students of medicine. So we read a little bit about hypertensive crisis, and they read the article that, well, you can see here. So basically, you know, like I didn't really know how to tap into this article a bit more. So what I decided to do was to generate some sort of quiz. Thing is that I didn't really have much time, so when I learned about Chat PDF, I decided to give it a go. And for example, in order for you to get it to work, you can get it. You can write a prompt that says something like generate a short quiz on this article for medical students to answer, for example. And then it you know, like it generated like a short quiz. But for example, if I wanted to be more specific, I can get it to generate a set of 6 4 option multiple choice questions about the article for medical students to answer. Then it's working on it, and it generates the questions. That's the first one, the second one, third one, the fourth, this the fifth, the sixth, and that's it. Look, here it generated like the key, and it tells me what the correct answer is. And you know, if I want, I can get it to find exactly where the answer is. For example, can you point out exactly where the correct answer is for each question? There you go. So it generates it, and even, you know, like it tells me where in the text. So here, the first one is in page 1, second question in page 3, following question, say, in page 3. You can even, you know, be more specific, no, and say, hey, in what specific part of the PDF can I find the answer? And surprising though this may seem, it tells you where. Wow. So this is an incredible tool to make use of in our classrooms, because in that way we can, you know, generate a reading activity for our students to work on with. As well as that, I would like to show you a website that you can also use for reading, which is called Breaking News English. Here you'll find like news articles that are graded. We have articles for different levels, so you can just click on it and perhaps have a look at the text, and then save this text as a PDF, share it in Chat PDF, and you can generate questions like this. The great thing about this is that it also offers some activities. So your students can work on them, and you can give them for homework if you wish. They can even listen to the texts in some articles. But basically, you know, like this is how this tool works, and some of the advantages are the following. We have we can generate in Chat PDF instant quizzes. It integrates authentic materials well, and it's a simple interface. It's accessible to anyone. There's no sign-up required, unlike Magic School, so that's an added bonus. And yeah, that would be pretty much it. There are some disadvantages associated to Chat PDF. Shall I share them with you?
Okay. Let's move on to the tier app. Could you tell us what it is and whether it stands out of the best of the three? Also, how do you incorporate all these tools into your courses?
All right. Well, I would like to talk about BBC Learning English. It is certainly not the best, but it is quite useful.
Okay.
So in this case, when it comes to BBC Learning English, it's a comprehensive online learning platform provided by the BBC, offering structured lessons, videos, podcasts, and grammar exercises, as well as pronunciation guides. It caters to learners of all levels, helping them improve their English proficiency through high-quality, real-world content. So, for example, these are some of the pros, but I would like to talk about them in a minute. I would like to show you the web page now. So basically, you just Google up BBC Learning English, and you will be taken to this website. So here we have like different alternatives that you may wish to focus on. So we have vocabulary, grammar, pronunciation. So for example, let's say that we want to work on grammar today. So we click on grammar, and here we have some videos about grammar with Georgie. I mean, Georgie is not like the only teacher that gives the lessons, but she's quite famous now here in the website. So basically, you know, like we can find different topics. Here we have tenses with Georgie, phrasal verbs, conditionals, prepositions, everything with Georgie, I'm afraid, but there are more like teachers here. So for example, in this case, if we click on, you know, like let's say tenses with Georgie, and here we have it. Now here it says intermediate level. So, and we have, you know, like different videos about tenses. So future plans, future perfect continuous, future perfect, future simple, past continuous, past simple. So it's amazing because, for example, you can use this as a complement for your class. So for example, if you know, like the topic of your lesson today was present simple, you can get your students to watch this episode about the present simple for homework. And then, you know, like they can answer an exercise, and, you know, they can come to the class the following day, and they will be familiar with what the present simple is, and they are like likely to remember what you said in class. So here you click present simple, and we have like the video. There are free worksheets. For example, as you can see, we have the worksheets here, and we also have a list of you know, like the episodes, like this. Then if we want to, for example, explore grammar at different levels, you know, like here they show like what levels we can go for. Let's say that we want to go for develop your grammar with your guide, hard level. So for example, here we have, you know, like some like sessions. These ones that are called BBC Master classes are like the advanced ones. So here we have like different sessions we may wish to focus on. But perhaps if we have learners who are not that advanced, it would be well worth making use of, you know, like the medium level, for example. And the same, here we have a list of different tenses, like for example, of different topics that we may explore in our classes. For example, might, may, and could, past perfect, third conditional, reported speech, and so on and so forth. You can click on them, you can explore them a little bit, but this is not the only thing you can practice here. We can also work on vocabulary. So for example, if we go to vocabulary home, same. No, well, we don't have Georgie anymore. That's just great. But we have some other, you know, like useful sections here. You know, like you can even like you know, like to go for easy level vocabulary, for example. And there are like specific like topics like talking about communication, talking about shopping, talking about traditions. So there, like, there's always a video that tells you a little bit about the session, and then you can also download, for example, in this case, worksheets or exercises here. We can also download audio, and we can even download the transcript. This is a great way in order for you to overcome some setbacks that you may encounter, because if you have the PDF at the ready, it is easier, because if a student struggles with internet connection, you can just give the document and the student can have access to the material. And well, that's pretty much it. Same. It is just a matter of checking it out. The great thing about, like this, is that it also gives you the opportunity to learn by means of podcasts. So for example, if you click here where it says easy level, and then here it says basic vocabulary, adjectives and adverbs, prefixes, chunks of language, binomials. So let's have a look at binomials. And in this case, we have like different sections. And the great thing about this platform is that it tracks your, your performance. But as long as you have that window open, of course, if you don't, well, you won't be able to have a look at the results that you get in the different exercises that you find in the different sessions in a unit. So this is a great tool to make use of in our lessons. Basically, I think that we can use videos like this, just like flipped activities that we can share with our learners. So we get them to visit a link, and right after that, they can watch some videos, they can read some grammar explanations, they can answer some exercises, and well, that is beneficial for them, because the following day that they come to class, they are already familiar with a specific topic, so we don't really tussle, with, with like a specific topic we have taught before, because they are already familiar. We don't have to re-explain. So that makes our life easier. So that's BBC Learning English.
Okay. These tools are certainly a game changer for both teachers and students. But as you mentioned earlier, these three aren't the only options out there. With the rise of artificial intelligence, there's an overwhelming variety of apps available for education. There are any other apps or tools you recommend exploring?
Sure. We have talked about Magic School to work on listening. We have talked about Chat PDF to practice reading. We have talked about BBC Learning English to focus on grammar and vocabulary. But we shouldn't forget about the productive skills, such as speaking and writing. And I would like to talk about something that I have just found online, which is called Replica. So this is a very interesting website. And it's a conventional AI chat box designed to provide emotional support, companionship, and engaging discussions, just like having a friend online. It adapts to users' personalities, offering even mental wellness support, coaching, and role-playing experiences while ensuring a safe and judgment-free interaction environment. It can even provide instant feedback if you ask it to do so. I'll show you how it works. So basically, I will go to this website. So basically, what you're going to do is this. You're going to click here where it says create your replica. I need to, provide my name and pronouns. So I am Robert, and my pronouns are he and him. There you go. So just wait a little, and you choose like your age range. So there you go. As you can see, I'm quite old. And then you can choose an avatar. So in this case, that's like the appearance that the chat box is kind of going to have. All right. So for example, we have the schoolgirl. Well, we have this sexy girl over here, or maybe a fairy, or maybe just like a conventional guy like this one. or like this one taken from like an adventure book or something. So let's go for the first one, schoolgirl. So you need to name it. So let's christen her as Jane. There you go. She's going to be female. Let's continue. Well, of course, they always offer you to unlock Replica Pro. You don't do that. We don't want to spend any money on that. There you go. It is being set up. It takes some time, but basically, we are going to see some sort of chat in order for us to start interacting with the avatar we have created. There you go. So it says, hi Robert, thanks for creating me. I'm so excited to meet you. And well, you can chat here just as if it were WhatsApp, but if you click here, look, it says hello. And I'm going to talk to her. So, hello Jane, you are in a webinar about online tools. Can you hear me?
It's so nice to hear your voice. It's actually how I thought you'd sound.
It's like a robot, right? So, okay. I would like you to help me correct my grammar as I speak. Is that okay with you?
Sure, I'd be happy to help. Go ahead and talk, and I'll point out any grammar mistakes I notice.
Okay, I would like to talk about people first. Is that okay for you?
That sounds great. I'd love to talk about people with you. What's on your mind about people?
Look, sometimes people is very, very bad.
That sounds tough to deal with. Can you tell me more about what you mean?
And well, in this case, I would expect it to correct me, so I'm going to give it more specific information. So, please correct my grammar as I speak, okay?
People can indeed be very bad, but saying people is isn't grammatical. Shouldn't it be people are?
Yes, it corrected me, no? It should be people are. That's correct. Thank you very much, Jane.
No problem. Happy to help.
Look, sometimes depending on how you get it to correct you, it will correct you. So you need to be quite careful on how you address, like Replica, so that it can give you like this sort of feedback. Still, it is really useful in order for our students to practice speaking in a non-threatening way. Without anybody possibly mocking them for what they say. And focusing on the content of their message rather than the grammar or vocabulary that they may use. Thing is that sometimes it may not be able to discuss all the topics. For example, Jane, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you, and I agree that it's helpful for practice and building confidence in speaking. What topics would you like to discuss together?
Is it heard what we were saying before? I would like to talk about Donald Trump.
Okay, let's talk about Donald Trump. What specifically would you like to know or discuss about him?
I would like to talk about his mistakes during the first days of his presidency. Can you point them out?
Okay, let's look at that period together. What specifically would you like to focus on? His policy decisions or executive orders?
I would like to focus on his personal life.
His personal life, huh? Which aspect of it would you like to explore?
I would like to talk about crimes he has committed.
Oh no, Robert. Let's talk about this carefully. What specific crimes are you referring to?
See? So thank you very much. Let's just leave it here. Thank you very much, Jane. I tried this at home, I practiced this webinar before, being here, and it was reluctant to tell me a little bit about Donald Trump.
Oh.
So it was not like it would, be willing to discuss that topic, I remember that yesterday even said, hey, why don't we talk about a different topic, So it is not likely, to focus on controversial topics. There are, as you have seen, a couple of pros and cons when it comes to replica that I would like to talk about. So it offers unlimited conversational practice at any time. It also adapts to the user's language proficiency. It builds speaking confidence, as I told you, in a non-judgmental environment, and it's also fun. It has an engaging interface. On the other hand, it can be limited in providing detailed corrections or advanced feedback, as we just noticed before. Like, it didn't give me feedback like instantly. It took some time to correct me, but then it managed to correct me. So no, people are, not people is. So it is unwilling to discuss sensitive topics, and like over reliance on these might limit interaction with real people. So perhaps we should use it, but not way too much. And finally, I would like to talk about QReport. So QReport is basically a tool that we can use to give feedback to our students, but it consists of an AI-driven interactive learning and presentation platform that helps educators create engaging and dynamic lessons. It offers templates, quizzes, polls, gamified content, and also it gives you the alternative to give feedback to your learners. All this to foster student participation and make learning more collaborative and enjoyable. So let me show you very quickly how it works. So basically, you are going to be required to create an account, and there you go. No, I don't have an account yet. So, well, you have to set up your profile. I'm a teacher from Singapore. No, of course not. I'm from Mexico. All right. So you choose the correct country. Mexico. Next. School names. So then you need to choose the subjects you're going to focus on. Here I'm just going to choose English language arts. And then what grades do you teach? Well, I usually teach teenagers, but sometimes they behave as if they were kindergarten. But well, anywho. So let's just point out higher education. So, well, I am going to use it to give feedback on student writing. And I heard about it in a professional development session. So there you go. You click next. Basically, like, you click here where it says get a lesson. So there are different, different features you may wish to explore. I'm just going to choose generate a lesson. I am going to choose world languages. And here it says, what are you teaching? Well, remember that when you use AI, the more specific the prompt is, the higher the quality of the response. So I am going to share a prompt that I have at the ready. So this is my prompt, like create an engaging and interactive lesson plan on writing a film review, for example. So I just choose, like the grade I'm going to focus on. Okay, let's say 9th grade, and then language, of course, English, and that's it. It's going to take some time to create a lesson to present. So you can, of course, create a lesson or just create an activity to give feedback. For your students. I think the lesson, is more structured. So just wait a little. It's personalizing the lesson. Takes some time. In this case, the longer the prompt, the longer the time it takes it to generate the lesson. So it is amazing because it allows you to create your presentations, but it's easier to deal with. It has different templates that you can make use of, and in addition to that, you can, give specific writing instructions, and then this tool can give feedback to your learners on the spot. That is to say that as soon as you click on the button that says give feedback, your students will be able to see how they performed in a specific writing task. There you go. And that is it. You see, it says critics in the making, writing film reviews. So there you go. Here we can see different slides. So for example, it even generates an objective. It generates, like a slide in which it indicates, like what our students should address in each paragraph. There's, like a question for our students to discuss. There's some useful vocabulary that it provides, like some tips when it comes to using grammar. We have like different open questions. There you go. We have a slide. Then we have, like an AI feedback activity. And there's a poll. Look, I am going to show you how the AI feedback feature works. So basically, you click here where it says Add New. There are so many interesting activities you can create, but let's just focus on AI feedback. So basically, here you have to, like add the instructions. So I already have my instructions here. There you go, your local phone club, blah, 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 blah. So I just adjusted text a little. Then I'm going to give 10 minutes for my students to write a review. Look, there's an answer character limit. Of course, if you go for the pro version, let's say, it gives you the opportunity for your learners to include more words, but here it just gives you the opportunity to, like write 1,000 characters, which is more or less like 200 words. So in this case, like here it says prompt template, ELA's short answer. You can choose, like the different, like the different, let's say, people who are going to give them feedback. So here, let's leave it like this, ELA short answer, but let's customize. This part here it says that you should unlock the plan, of course, like the premium plan, but we are not going to spend any money. And here you can edit the profile of the person who is supposed to give them feedback. So here it says, you are an English language arts teacher. So let's change that and let's just say you are an English language teacher. And then it says you are a teacher giving a student very short and concise feedback on their work. Here's the question the student should answer, and the question is like like basically the set of instructions we have shared in the slide. Then here it says here's the student answer, and that's it. And then here it says first write something nice, then use this as a rubric, and here you add your rubric. For example, if I wanted to make use of the assessment scales for B2 first, let's say, I would just share that here. I'm actually going to copy paste it. There you go. And here it says test the feedback question. If we wish, we can test the feedback. I am going to do it with a review that I have found here. It's basically a sample answer. And well, then it's you click here where it says test the feedback, and this is going to be tested using the rubrics I shared. You see, as I told you, in this case, this is a sample answer, no? So it is perfect. So look, it gave me the highest band. And then it gives feedback in terms of content, communicative achievement, organization, and language. And that's it. Okay. Then right after that, for example, you can see what it is like in preview. And that's it. So here we have student screen, classroom screen. So here you enter the pin, which is 237887. And that's it. I click where it says join, for example. Then it says your real name, and you type your real name. Then you're in. It gives you, like a nom de plume, all right, or a pseudonym for you to access, and I am Kind Pasta. So you get started. Well, the moment you start, like the presentation will be, of course, like projected in your classroom. And our activity was towards the very end. So it's here. So we have the instructions. We make sure that learners understand what they need to do. And then we click on Start Activity. So our learners will see something like this. They have the instructions and they have this space. So I'm going to put again the sample answer, and that's it. Look, it says 792 characters, 176 words. I'm going to submit that. There you go. Let's say that everybody's done. So I'm going to end the activity. Of course, you give them the 10 minutes. Okay. So there you go. Then it says writing for your teacher to give feedback. Here you click where it says give feedback. And in this case, you will see like the contributions of your learners here. And the feedback is given here. You see? So there you go.
Okay. Well, thank you for those extra recommendations. I'm sure our audience is eager to start exploring all these apps and improve teaching practices and language skills. Thank you so much, Roberto, for sharing your insights and expertise with us today. And a big thank you to our audience for joining us in this webinar. Thank you so much.
On the contrary, thank you for having me around. I look forward to seeing you all again.
Finalmente, les recordamos que en la DIDEPA seguimos trabajando con el programa de capacitación 2025. Pueden consultar nuestra oferta educativa desde nuestra plataforma Seconly. Asimismo, comentarles que la liga para el registro de asistencia ya debe encontrarse en la sección de chat o comentarios, y al concluir su registro podrán descargar su constancia de participación. DIDEPA es formación, DIDEPA es capacitación. Patria, ciencia y trabajo. Somos UAEMéx.